Hi, Tal.
Hey,
I'm
Tal.
Lonye.
And I'm Peyton.
Thank you so much for having us on as so we can discuss our show, Funny Married Stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, so let's see. The first question is, tell our readers a little about yourselves.
I'll let you start because you have such an interesting story.
He's so sweet. Well, you already know my name. My name is Lony'e and Peyton Perrine. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. I went to Villanova University. VU. Ran track for them. Studied political science and English, but still had theater in my heart. So I took some classes there. Graduated, worked for an IT company for a few years. The whole time I was still acting because that was in my heart. Married this handsome man along the way and have been living my dream as a full-time actor ever since.
So, she's right. She did marry the man of her dreams.
I didn't say that, but yes.
Of course you did. You better.
Yes, he is the man of my dreams.
There you go. So, I'm Peyton Perrine. I basically have a corporate telecom background. I have been thrust with a little bit of love and encouragement from my wife into this thing. So it's pretty cool. I never would have thought in a million years, kid who is somebody growing up in Philly would be writing and acting and producing and part of Screen Actors Guild. I would have never thought that in a million years. Loving husband, proud father of two.
Yes, two boys.
And yeah, I'm just super excited. My wife and I are celebrating 15 years of marriage in a couple more weeks. So that's pretty cool.
May 8th.
Yeah. So yeah, look, that's a little bit about us.
That's a little bit about us.
In a nutshell.
Yes. So let's see.
Should I tell her how we met story?
Well, I mean,
All right, we'll say that for another time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Describe your roles in this exciting project. Well, Peyton and I are the creators of Funny Married Stuff, and I'm also an actor on it and produce it. And
I was co-creator with my lovely wife, but then I wrote season 1. I was the head writer of season 2, and also a producer and actor in the project as well.
And so let's see, what is it like being married and working with each other on this? Interesting.
I think that's a good way to describe it. I'll start off with this.
Sure.
I think for me, so my wife is in the creative space full time, so she's pursuing her passions and her dreams, which is awesome, and I admire that about you a lot. But for me, I work a full-time job. So for season 1, it popped up where, when she was at acting class, like once a week, she'd be like, that idea we had, you need to write that. And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? Write it. But I took on a challenge, right? I was kind of voluntold what to do. So, I followed instructions. My pop raised me well. Mom raised me well too. And I wrote it. But sometimes it is a little bit challenging. It's really cool working with my best friend and my soulmate and my wife and my love and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it is a little bit challenging, just trying to compartmentalize and manage work and then husband life and then father life and then household stuff and then by the way, we also got to bang out projects. So she's definitely a A-type personality. So there'd be some days where I come home from work and I was like burnt, no. But
there's a deadline.
Yeah. There's definitely a deadline as soon as I walk in the door.
Well, I mean, just to add to that, it's a pleasure getting a chance to work with him. And because we're married, we know each other's strengths and we know each other's weaknesses. So that's the
opportunities.
Beauty.
I like to say opportunities.
I like that.
I'm not weak.
Strength. You're right, because you're not weak and I'm not weak. So that doesn't make any sense.
Opportunities.
So opportunities and strengths. So So with that in mind, I know where my strengths are, and I can say, hey, I'm going to tackle these to-do lists on our production schedule, and then we can say, hey, Peyton, this is what you're strong in, so you can work on that. And then with season 2, we had another producer, Nika King, so we had her in the mix to help us, with that. But working with him is great. It's challenging though, because you are trying to balance so many things and wear so many hats, and you want to be cognizant of the fact that we have so much going on between our kids and his full-time work schedule, where I'll have a bunch of auditions that day, but then I can just focus into production and stay literally in my creative space all day, where he has to juggle a few different hats, working in corporate America, then coming into the creative space, and then, spending time with our kids. And so it can be really, really tough. But one of the big pluses I feel like that has helped us as we've been learning, that communication. We've had to have open communication, because there are days where it's rough, we're tired, we're exhausted, but we have deadlines and we have to do it. But we have to communicate and be open and honest about what we can do, what we can't do, and making sure we separate those boundaries between work and then us as husband and wife, the best we can. Yeah.
The other really cool thing too, just to add on that, is Lonye and I think completely differently.
Opposites.
Like we think, like, I think way like abstract, high level, and she's like,
I have spreadsheets, you guys.
The details.
Spreadsheets.
The details. The devil is in the details, and I'm like,
well, no, because God is in the details too. Wait a minute, no, we can't say devil.
Well, well, it's a figure of speech.
I know, but I'm not a fan of that.
All right, okay, got it. So we think like completely opposite, but it's really cool to where like she's processing information way over here, and I'm processing information way over here, and then we kind of come to an answer as we're both processing like through things together. Like that's one of my favorite parts about working with you, is how we get to like a consensus on what to do. And like sometimes like my thought process will influence like how you want to do something, and then your thought process will influence how I want to do something, and we come to a meeting.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. And I think too, because we've known each other so long, it'll be 15 years. May 8th, we've been celebrating, our marriage, but we've been together for 20. We were babies when we met, and so we really know each other.
3 years old. How about that? Come on now, don't give up.
Yes, we were 3.
Yeah, okay.
We were 3.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of working, with your spouse, that you know each other and can navigate through things. Okay.
So now we move on.
Let's see. What inspired the creation of Funny Married Stuff? That's a good story. Do you want to tell it? Do you want me to tell it?
You do such a good job.
Okay, so a few years ago, Peyton and I were just sitting around talking with our friends, Natalie and Dennis, who are also one of the real life couples on the show. And we were just talking about how marriage is tough and how it's difficult and how a lot of people are just divorcing, especially in Hollywood. One issue will arise and the next week you hear they're getting divorced.
Yeah, I think it was after like there were like 3 couples that had been like long-term couples in Hollywood with just like report after report after report just popped out. We like, yo,
right,
babe, you are stuck with me like forever.
Exactly.
So like divorce is not an option. So
not an option over here. And so with talking with them, we were laughing back and forth about how some of the ridiculous situations that come up in marriage are actually funny, depending on what perspective you look at it. Men and women, we think differently, and just stuff that happens in marriage is funny if you look at it from a certain angle. And Peyton was like, hey, I should do a show about that. And I was like, great. Why don't you write it while I'm in acting class on Tuesday nights?
She did. Shocked the hell out of me. I was like, what?
And the thing is, Peyton, he wasn't a writer then. He was someone who just worked in the telecom market. And I don't know what was in me that just made me think that he could do it. But something was in me that was like, he can do it. He can do everything. He's a really... You can do a lot of things. Honestly, he's the type of guy that if you give him a challenge, he will do it. When he's challenged, he will do it. I just knew you would be great at it. So he started writing, and then season 1, it was 3-minute episodes, and I would read what he had, and then we got our director, Roger Melvin, involved, and he would read it, and we would go through it and said, okay, we have several episodes. we have a show. And so the need came from us just wanting to have other couples look at us and our situations and our friends' situations and see themselves, trying to figure out together as a community, how do we work through marriage? Let's not just run to divorce or to the extremes. Let's figure out how to really work and manage our marriages together and help each other.
Yeah. In addition to that, I know we really wanted to kind of have a message, so to speak, in each episode, and then kind of give a little bit of laughter and funny, kind of with the spoonful of medicine, if you will, just to really help people. Because, I mean, like, when you marry, you have to wake up every single day and say, all right, like, there's going to be challenges or issues or whatever, like, I'm going to make this work.
That's right.
And fortunately for us, I mean,
it's working out.
We did it this morning again. So we'll keep you posted.
But it's so that's the whole purpose of the show, to bring light, to bring inspiration, to bring hope back into marriages and encourage, that marriages aren't all bad. We're not all baby moms or deadbeat dad. All those perceptions that are about specifically African American families. Yeah. We're not all that. Yes, there are those situations that occur for people, but that's not it for everybody.
But that's everybody too,
everybody has their stuff, so we wanted to create a show that all folks can look at and kind of be inspired by what they see and learn something.
Next.
Let's see. What can viewers expect to see?
So viewers can expect to see a show that provides like real situations that happen in marriage, and a whole bunch of funny and a whole bunch of silly, because we do a lot of improv in the show too.
We do.
And we just had such a ball, and I think that the community that we built, like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, really enjoys the banter and silly, but also they get it. You know what I mean? They get the messages that are part of the project.
I think you can expect to see, the best way I can describe it is light, because so many comments that we get, at the end of the day, someone will see our episodes and say, oh my gosh, thank you. I needed this. This brought a laugh to my face. I really needed to smile today because I had a rough day, or I see myself in this episode. This is totally my husband, and him and I were talking about it. So it brings inspiration, really cool. Because we talk about various topics. Like season 1, we address things like communication issues, financial issues.
Shopping.
Okay. That one is really personal.
And it's really cool. So season 1, you can expect to see a lot of stuff that was like loosely based on us.
Yes.
Because I was just writing from the heart. Season 2, we really tried to focus in on other topics, and kind of expand the world of us and our friends, so you can kind of see a little bit more. The other thing,
and also, not to cut you off, but in season 2, our writer's room was composed of Peyton, he mentioned, but Leah Martin and Nika King. So they all came in with their perspectives. Nika is single, and then Leah is married. She's been married longer than us. So between all of our stories and life experiences, we were able to come up with really great topics, that, we can address specifically for what is it like when you're in your 60s and you're married? What are issues that you go through? Because one of the couples on the show, they're actually really kind of best friends, if that makes sense, in real life, but they're married on the show. And what do couples in their 60s go through? So we wanted to kind of address those different issues too, and having a writer's room that was diverse really helped with that.
Yeah, and not something that they will see, but they will also hear some amazing music.
Yes.
Our music supervisor, Carolyn Richardson, did an amazing job. She was
some amazing indie artists.
Yeah. I mean, we had tons of amazing indie artists that were a part of the project, and the music is kind of like its own character, if you will, because we definitely wanted to have a dope vibe when it came to the music of the show. And super excited. Like season 1, Carolyn was nominated for an Indie Series Award for best soundtrack. She was nominated again this year for season 2. So like really excited about that.
Yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell just some topics that people could see. Like, for example, season 2, we talk about erectile dysfunction. We talk about
not here.
Oh my gosh!
That's for the older couple. I'm just saying. Like,
We also,
I had to make sure that was clear and on the record. I'm sorry, good.
I love it. We talk about topics of divorce. We talk about black girl hair. We talk about topics that our real life friends who are married, they're in an interracial marriage. What do you deal with in that situation? What type of topic? So we kind of, and also with our single friend Nika, address how as married couples, we should not be in her business as much.
Pretty much meddling.
So there's a bunch of different topics that people can all relate to.
Cool.
All right. Let's see. What do you all hope to accomplish in the future?
Are there any upcoming projects you guys could give us insight into? Okay. Well, right off the gate, like the goal for Funny Married Stuff is to get it to a larger platform, either one of the major streaming services like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, or we wouldn't be opposed to having it on network TV either.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty awesome how the project is just growing and making strides. We're kind of in mid-festival run.
Yes, right now we are in mid-festival run. We actually have 2 festivals coming up this month. We are at the Miami Web Fest May 2nd through 5th. And we also we're nominated for 3 awards for that one. And then a week later, we head to the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards, where we're up for Best Web Series. And that's a special one because, I was born in Delaware but lived many years in Philadelphia, and that's where he's from. So it's kind of bringing our little project and baby, our 3rd baby, back home. And then, exciting news.
Come on, give it.
Exciting
Come on,
news.
give it. Come on.
Last week, we submitted season 2 of Funny Married Stuff to the Emmys. So we are, for your consideration, for a short form comedy or drama for the show. And also, we nominated myself for Best Actress in a short form comedy or drama. So that is very exciting. First time ever doing this, but we believe in our project and the message of it, and we're getting it out there. So for all the Academy members out there, check out voting for Funny Married Stuff. Voting, I do believe, starts on June 10th. So those are the things that we're working on in the future, besides preparing to potentially pitch our project. So a lot of things happening from that side of things. Let's see, the other part of that question. Are there any upcoming projects you guys could give us insight to? That's a good one.
Yeah, so I think the next project that we're probably going to work on, we have another web series idea, but we also have a really, really good feature film idea. Can't necessarily share that just yet. But I'm super excited. I feel like with the community that we've built and the team that we've built, like we definitely have the skill sets to put together a very, very high quality feature film, and that's what the goal is. Just to add to that, branch out.
The goal, like for Funny Married Stuff, is to not just create content that we're producing, but to help give other creators a platform and to help them create their content and tell their stories. And the cool thing about creating your own project is that you can put who you want in your project.
Because we put our kids in our project.
Absolutely. Our children, our oldest son is Peyton Robert Perrine III. He is Peyton II. And our youngest is Randolph Perrine, and he is 5. And it was so cool getting an opportunity to work with our kids and see their little creative ideas and their energy. So
they had a ball.
They did. And it's really cool seeing this become a family affair for us, but also with our extended family. Because everyone that's cast in our show, there are actual family, how would you call it?
Extended family.
Extended family.
They are West Coast family.
West Coast family. A lot of them we go to church with at Hope's House Christian Ministries, and other friends just knowing from working in an industry. So that was really cool, and just the power of telling your story with the people you want and how you want to tell it with creating your own content.
Yeah. So thanks so much for taking the time to shoot us over these questions. I
Yes.
hope this was a little good segment of
Yes.
Funny Mary stuff and Team Perrine and
Yes.
how we
That's
do
our
that.
little family motto, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Team
True.
Perrine. We kind of say that as we encourage each other as husband and wife, and as we encourage our children to go out there and be a light and to do good and to try their best. It's just something that we
Just
say.
win, man.
And
Just
just
win.
right? Just win. So thank you so much for your time. If you have any other questions, just let us know, and we'll be happy to answer any more that you have.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.